Hello everyone! This is Running on Empty Food Review. Well, hello ladies, gentlemen, and everyone watching. Welcome one and all to this newest edition of the Running on Empty Food Review series. I'm your host, The Report of the Week. Thanks for checking in. When you think of Papa John's, what comes to mind? What's the first thing that comes to mind? When I think of Papa John's, in this day and age, 2023 we're talking about, I don't think of the Papa Bowls, and I don't think of Papa's burger sauce, or anything like that. I think of innovation. And when you look at it this way, Papa John's, I think, has some of the leading experts in the scientific field today, at present, on their team. When you realize the amount of innovative ideas that Papa John's not only conjures up, but sees through to the very end, well, my jaw was agape. It was. It isn't right now, but just take my word for it that it was. Because think about it. What other establishment decided to take all the pizza toppings and slide them off the pizza and put them in a plastic feeding trough? Papa John's did. What other establishment even thought, let me take an Oreo cookie, wrap it around in some pizza dough, bake it, and send it your way? Papa John's did. So it should be no surprise that Papa John's was the establishment that made this groundbreaking, absolutely groundbreaking development. And this is a game changer. When you think of the future, you might think of flying cars, you might think of life extension, you might think of interstellar travel. This exceeds everything. Everything. This is groundbreaking stuff. So you know how you have pizza, and you put cheese, generally speaking, on top of the base, right? So you have the dough, and then you have the sauce. This is like for a general pizza, right? You have the sauce, and then you put the cheese on top of the sauce, and then the toppings on top of the cheese. What if you found out that Papa John's discovered that you could also put cheese on the bottom of the base? They did it. They actually did it. And that's right. Papa John's has released their Crispy Parm Pizza. And here's what it is. It has cheese on the bottom of the crust. It's a thin crust pizza, has a blend of shredded Parmesan and Romano cheese under the crust. Not the crust, but the base, really. You'll see in a minute a picture I think will tell 1,000 words. On the top, it has some mozzarella cheese on the pizza. Get it with any topping of your choice, but the big news right here is that there's cheese on the bottom of the pizza. Some have compared it to being like their papadilla, but unfolded. Wow. $12.99 for a large pizza, so about $13. It also comes with some special seasoning. There's the box. And again, the description might not make a ton of sense, but you're going to see in a minute when I show you what the pizza actually looks like. Then I think everything's going to make sense. Anyway, there's the box. What does it say? Better ingredients, better pizza. Team pizza. That means the team of scientists that made this. If you ever wondered, when it comes down to advanced degrees, what the P in PhD stands for, it stands for Papa John's. And all right, that one got me. There's what it looks like. So you see from the top, it looks like a standard thin crust pizza, right? It looks, I'd say it looks pretty good. I like pizza anyway. I got pepperoni, And again, you could see it's got good distribution. You see the cheese, you see the sauce, you see the crust, all the pepperonis there. Garlic sauce and the little pepper as well. So it looks pretty straightforward, right? Let's find a good slice. I'll go with this one here. But then, as you will soon see, here's the difference, okay? This is what I was saying. This is the important part. So you've got the thin crust pizza, right? Standard pizza so far, but then look at the bottom. There's the big deal. That's cheese on the bottom of it. So see, that's what they mean by, because when they say the crust, and this is what they say in the official description, when they say the crust, I just think of the crust. I always consider this to be like the base. I think that just makes more sense from a descriptive point of view. But see, there it is. There's the cheese blend right on the bottom. So that's what the big deal is. It's got that cheese on the bottom, standard pizza on the top with, again, the cheese blend right there on the bottom. I was concerned initially that this is one of those items that strikes me that disaster could unfold, in that I could get this and find that the cheese on the bottom is all burnt and everything, but it seems like it's cooked nicely. Obviously, you could see it has a lot of structure to it. It's not a floppy slice of pizza at all. So what I'm going to do now, I'll try it out. I'll let you know if it's any good or not, if the addition, of course, of the cheese on the bottom is noticeable at all. And that'll be that. So let's try it out. The new Crispy Parm Pizza from Papa John's. It's going in. And I'll take a quick bite of the crust. Take a sip of water. So, there we go. Taking a look at the pizza, when I got, and I know I always play these things up as I'm doing the introduction and all of that. I have fun doing that. But as I was looking at the pizza and as I was thinking to myself what exactly it is and what the concept is, etc., I was thinking this is one of those pizzas that you might be a little bit underwhelmed by it, perhaps, because it might be one of those things where the reaction upon which it invokes is you might think, all right, so it's got cheese on the bottom of the pizza, and right, you might be expecting, all right, and what else does it have? And then you realize, oh wait, I guess that's just it. That's the catch. It just has some cheese on the bottom of the pizza, and it's just a standard pizza otherwise. And as I mentioned, just as a little bit of a tangent, so to speak, I mentioned that I had my concern in regards to the cheese on the bottom being perhaps burnt, because I could certainly see that happening. And obviously, if that were the case, that would enormously detract from the pizza and the eating experience, because, I mean, I know I've had pizzas before where sometimes some of the toppings or the cheese or the base or whatever it might be, it's not just well done, but it winds up being burnt, and then of course that sort of overcooked char really cuts through, and not in a good way. It just monopolizes everything, and you can't really taste anything else. So I was very concerned about that at first. But as I was eating this pizza, I was pleasantly surprised, noticing that despite it being on the bottom, it did not have any of those characteristics. Now, I will say, if you get this pizza and you are expecting the world from it, so you're expecting this is going to be the best pizza ever, somehow the shredded Parmesan and Romano cheese blend on the bottom is going to be life-changing, and it's going to it's going to change everything, you're probably going to be a little bit let down. It's not bad, though, but don't expect this to be the necessarily game-changing pizza. Because it isn't. It's like, all right, pizza, thin crust, crispy. The toppings are totally standard. There is nothing different about the toppings at all. You've got, of course, the mozzarella cheese on top of the pizza, along with... Now, again, I went with pepperoni. That's what's marketed in the advertisements. But you could go with any topping that you want. But again, pepperoni is always the classic choice. That's, I think, the standard, so to speak. So it's a greasy pizza. Pepperoni has a little hint of spice to it. Nothing overwhelming, nothing overbearing at all. But a little bit of a hint of spice to it. Again, greasy. The sauce is all right. It's got that little sharp note to it, which, again, I always like. It helps moderate everything out. So then when we look at the bottom of the pizza, right, what's something that I notice about it? Immediately, and I pointed this out even before I tried it, I think it adds structure to the slice. Because the cheese solidifies, it hardens, and you could see, all right, the thin crust pizza, generally speaking, is pretty firm to begin with, but definitely it amplifies, texturally speaking, the crunchiness in each bite. And as you could see right here, if I tap on it, has that degree of solidity to it. But I should note, that's not to the point where it's like, a cracker or something, and you bite in and you feel like your teeth are going to shatter, or any of that. It's a thin crust, crispy, crunchy pizza, but if those are characteristics you're looking for, then I think you'd definitely be a fan of it. If you like the real soft, doughy, deep dish pizza, then this probably wouldn't be for you. But texturally speaking, that cheese definitely adds to the firmness, and again, makes this a very crunchy pizza. The other thing that I noticed that this cheese contributes is I could especially taste the Parmesan cheese, not so much the Romano, but definitely the Parmesan cheese on the bottom. And as I mentioned, it has this sharpness that you could definitely taste. I mean, you could definitely tell in each bite. I would be willing to bet, actually, despite when you look at this, obviously, you're going to see the pizza and everything on the top of it, but I would be willing to bet that the Parmesan cheese on the bottom is actually more pronounced than the mozzarella cheese on the top. So you're really going to notice that. It's really going to stand out. Also, you are going to notice, though, that this pizza is going to be a little bit on the saltier side. Now, I think it should go without saying that as far as fast food goes, yeah, sodium pretty much is in everything in copious amounts, so that should really be no surprise. But from a taste perspective, it's definitely discernible. So you're going to notice it, of course, just in the toppings, but as you take that bite in, especially as your tongue hits the bottom of each slice, you're going to really pick up on that saltiness, again, especially from the Parmesan cheese that's there. But all in all, it's a cheesy pizza. It's unique. It's a crispy, crunchy, salty pizza. But I would say It's exactly what they advertised it being. They said it's going to be a pizza that's going to have this cheese on the bottom of it, and that's precisely what it has. So, it might not, it's like a no frills pizza, I would say. There's no major surprise, there are no massive twists or turns. You know what you're going to get, and you get what they say you're going to get. It's as easy as that. But all in all, pretty straightforward. It's just if you want that pizza and it's going to have that cheesiness to it, it's going to have a little bit of a crunch to it, that extra saltiness. If that's what you'd like, then give it a shot. But it's exactly as advertised. Might not be everyone's cup of tea, but if that's what you're interested in, I think it'll be exactly what you expect of it. Real quick, I'll just try it out with some of the garlic. The garlic dipping sauce always complements it nicely. It's complimentary, so may as well utilize it. They also give you this seasoning. This too is complimentary. Now, I've had this seasoning before, their special seasoning. I find it to be enjoyable, but I don't know if it would be what I would consider essential in this circumstance. It's like a glorified garlic salt, essentially, which, I mean, for me personally, I'm fine with it, but I already commented on the level of saltiness that you may experience in this pizza. It's not overwhelming or anything, but it might not be one of those circumstances where that's something that you absolutely need. It's like, the good thing about this, anyway, is that if they give you the little packet of the seasoning like this, you could easily just pour out a tiny bit on a slice, and then it's like, yeah, I could essentially dip that metaphorical toe in the water, see how I like it, and then go from there. So all these little accoutrements, so to speak, they are complimentary. They come with the pizza. It's like, yeah, what the heck, try them out. I don't think any of them are game-changing, but worth giving a shot. I mean, they're there to begin with, so may as well see what it's all about. All right, out of 10, the Papa John's Crispy Parm Pizza. I think it's a straightforward concept, and I think the execution is straightforward as well. It's exactly as advertised. No frills, no major twists and turns, but that stability is often a good thing. Therefore, out of 10, I'm going to be giving this item from Papa John's, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Yeah, it's alright for what it is, and if it sounds interesting to you, go ahead, get it, give it a shot. I think it'll be to your liking. That's all that I have for you. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm your host, The Report of the Week.